Hello and welcome to today's show about ARAG Insurance and their use of conversational AI. Here at Cognigy, when we talk about conversations, it's usually all about automating them. But today, we're going to do something different and engage in a good old-fashioned human-to-human dialogue. And I'm very pleased to welcome Dr. Ina Baumran from ARAG Insurance in our virtual conference room. ARAG is the largest family enterprise in the German insurance sector and one of the three leading legal insurance providers in the world. Ina is head of IT steering committee, and she is responsible for all conversational AI initiatives at ARAG. Ina, thank you very much for joining today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So for a start, tell us a bit about you and your role at ARAG.
I'm at ARAG responsible for all IT activities worldwide. That goes from the governance stuff, which is the more boring stuff, the rules and the regulations over projects, up to the digital initiatives we are running. And digital is my big thing. My background is physicist, and I went to consulting and then to an insurance group. And I'm still highly addicted to new and innovative technology.
Great. So can you tell us a bit about ARAG as a digital innovator and kind of the early digital projects that you got moving in ARAG and in the insurance sector?
Oh, we started pretty early. Already in 2005, we started online sales, which was at that time very uncommon for the German insurance market. And we moved very much forward in that field with analytics and a good integration of sales, virtual phone lines, digital products, up to providing the first wallets for customers for an insurance, which were very unique. And we also cover a lot in the cyber segment of cyber protection. So these are the digital stuff we have done. Additionally, we also did a lot about enabling, for example, sales touch agents with a full digital sales process. So we do not only do digital projects for customers, but also for our organization.
Right. I also learned that you were one of the early movers in adoption of conversational AI for insurance companies. Can you tell us when you first looked into conversational AI and why?
I first came across 7 to 8 years ago with the topic conversational AI, with the bots serving customers. Still at that time, to be honest, a little bit very old fashioned, we would call it nowadays, but it triggered a point. I'm a big fan of sci-fi and Star Wars. And when I first came across that experience, I was like, wow, that's the stuff I've seen in the movies. It's there. So we just have to take it and run it. And at that time, I also believed it should be short, that it is working. Okay, it took a little bit to get it running, but that was really putting the point in my heart saying it's there and I want to go for it.
Right. Nice. So what is the driver behind conversational AI from like a end user's perspective? What do you think it can do that traditional user experience can't do? Or where is conversational AI particularly strong?
I think for me, customer happiness is one of the important factors. So we want to make the customer happy and we want to let him have the choice if he wants to talk to a human being. Giving an example, we use chat software and it's a one-to-one chat. So if you chat with me, you write with me. I don't write with 10 people at the same time. I'm doing a direct written conversation with you. If I prefer to talk to a virtual identity like a bot is not a stupid machine, it's just an intelligent person. If I want to prefer to talk to a bot, I can talk to a bot. And the optimum is the handover of these kind of technologies.
All right. So you are using conversational AI in conjunction with your human agents for the benefit of customer service. Is that correct summary?
Correct. That's the point. And I think this good interaction gives the maximum of benefit to the customer.
Right. So focusing on the conversational AI part itself, what do you think, or what are currently the main applications of conversational AI with ARAG? Where do you use it?
Oh, we use it now very broadly. We started with the legal field because that's our core field of business. Giving examples, you come home late at night or you had a lot of talks today, virtual talks, and then in the evening you go to your old-fashioned letter box, and there is this letter of your landlord saying, "Oh, I want to increase your rent by 45%," and you are like, "Oops, that's a lot. What can I do?" It's midnight, okay, because you had a lot of talks at that day, and then you're like, "What can I do at midnight with this letter? Do I want to take that to my sleep, have a sleepless night?" That's something we all don't want to have. So what you can do is you can interact with our bot, you answer some questions, either clicking or writing on them, and then we give you a good legal advice and directly also route you to a lawyer if necessary, or provide you with the document which you can send to your landlord, and you will have a happy sleep that night, because it probably will only take you 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the case, until you get your answer. And that is something which we think is important, to give you the access to legal ad anytime, 24/7. And we also moved forwards with COVID bots. If you have odd questions, you're running a business, so what can you do? How can you apply for help? Also there, you are in a not so easy situation and you want to resolve that one, or you are an agent and you need help on the products. So it's a broad field of direct help in various situations.
Yeah, that's great. I love the idea of using technology to giving people better rest. That is actually a wonderful thing that conversational AI can do. I've never looked at it that way, but I really like the concept behind it. So we've spoken about the customer-facing aspect of technology, but of course, conversational AI also has a backend where everything is created and managed, where the people really make those experiences happen. Can you tell us a bit about who's using the technology internally and who's kind of in the driver's seat to make all of that real?
That's the second good part. We cannot only make the customers happy, we can also make our people doing the bots happy. How? We have the people really at the front line. So if you talk about who is putting the content in and who is using the bot and who is, it's not programming anymore. I would not call it programming. It's more like putting the pieces together in the bot. These are the people, for example, from the legal helpline, who for our times have just picked up the phone and talked to our clients, and they love training the bots. And I think that's a super point. So we win as a company because our employees are happy and the customer wins. That's a win-win situation, and I think that's the good part about these new kind of new modern low code technology, that you do not have to do really hard coding and it takes long to develop a solution. No, it can be really fast and speedy, and you can see the result and try it out and improve it.
Right. It also sounds like it brings you as IT head of IT steering committee in a positive situation, because the adoption rate is pretty good and people don't perceive conversational AI as kind of a challenging technology, but rather as helping them provide better service and maybe even making their daily jobs easier as an ARAG employee. Is that right?
Yeah, and even make their jobs better, because a lot of people at the beginning, to be honest, fear a little bit about these bots. Will they take over my work? Will I be jobless? Where is my spot in their interaction? And when they can see that this is a perfect assistance, and that is also enriches their working life, it makes them happy, and it's also more challenging to really think about it. And with the option that you can always optimize it, you try for the better. That's also a big thing of these low code thing. You see how it works and you can easily adapt it, change it, make it better and better and better, and this gives yourself a higher satisfaction rate. It's not just you do something in former times, you write concepts, then sometimes out of a box the IT solution is jumping out, then it goes in production, and then you wait whenever it's your next slot. No, now you're in the driver's seat to define the next slot, and there you have a much more identification with the product.
That's great. Um, from the perspective as ARAG as an organization, can you speak a bit about your achievement? So what delivered conversational AI to ARAG? Where are you today and where do you see the most success with your initiatives?
We are already, I would say, a little bit far in the market. So what we do, we have a good combination in between human chat and bots. So we have a good combination of virtual assistants and human beings. We can easily interact in between these two channels. And we look at the stuff which is talked there also on a predictive AI way. So we can highly integrate the channels and the solutions and the technology. And at the moment, we are going to roll that further out in Europe and our different country organizations. And out of this, generate more ideas where we can use these good combinations.
Great. So you've been in the conversational AI game now for a couple of years already. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting? What were your major learnings from rolling out such initiatives on a global scale?
The major learning is that you really have to get the people in who are doing the conversation today. So if I would again have to start, and that is the point I would change compared to what we have done before. Before we had not so many people from the front line in. And if I now pick the project team, I pick the people who really do the job now, and I train them to do their bots. And I think that is the majority of the points you should focus on, because normally technology comes in via IT and doesn't come so much in via the real people who do the work. So it's not the bosses, it's not the leaders, it's the real people to do the work today. They are the best ones to be staffed on the project.
Nice, great insight. So from the look back now, a look to the future. If you think, let's say, 2 years ahead, I hope we both agree that conversational AI is there to stay, right? But how's it going to grow? What will the role of conversational AI be for ARAG in the foreseeable future?
It will grow in the sense that I strongly believe in the voice interfaces. At the moment, it's chatting and texting. It's not so much talking. And if I pick up my phone, and if I would call ARAG in the future, I want to talk. I want to have the option to talk to a human being or to my virtual assistant. And I think this interaction, not only from the computer interfaces, call it that way, if you call it chat software, computer interface, the spoken words as we do it today, and this option enriching the way of communication. I think that is the big point which will change the behavior in the future.
Yeah, I really agree about the importance of voice. It is the most human and natural way to interact. And I think expanding that to the human machine communication is just, well, a logic next step for improving customer experience. I very much agree with that. But let me be a bit controversial. Could you think of a future where a human end customer would actually prefer talking to the bot rather than to a human agent? Could that happen at some point?
I think that is going to happen, because look at the world today. I can chat with companies and I can also pick the phone line. And depending on the situation I'm in, depending on the topic I want to talk about, even I'm using the classical phone line. And I'm a high fan of bots and technology. So depending on my mood, my sense, my topic, giving me the option to choose, it's the best way. And I'm definitely sure that people in the future will say, oh, I prefer the virtual assistant, and not a virtual assistant because you have to wait so long in a customer line. That's not a choice. So if you start putting up virtual assistants because you have a problem in the waiting times in your phone line, that's not a good way to do it. It should have a good quality, and then people will go for it.
Right. Wonderful. So now, as a last question for this interview, let's just imagine you had all the money ARAG is willing to give you, and you can do whatever you like in your work time and start a next generation conversational AI initiative. What would you do? What would be your project?
My project will be multi-language, because I strongly believe in that we all have preferred languages in writing and in speaking. And nowadays, it's not so easy. If we call somewhere or if we write somewhere, we always have to adapt ourselves to the country or to the company. And my dream is that I can pick the language when I talk to Arak, which I like to talk. And not I pick the language because I called a German phone number that the people speak German. So any language I would like to use, I can use in these kind of bot and writing interaction. And that is the thing I would dream of. And I think probably it's not so far away, these kind of dream, to feel people more comfortable.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a wonderful vision because it's obviously beneficial for customer service, and it's also, in my opinion, something within reach as we see the advancements of machine learning and machine translation. It is not something that I would find too far-fetched. So maybe in 2 or 3 years from now, we can have another conversation, and you're going to tell me about the multilingual voice assistant that speaks any customer's language and picks up instantly, and you just rolled that out globally at Arak. So how about that?
Oh, that sounds a pretty good idea to me. And I think, yeah, it's not so in far reach as a lot of technology movements, and especially in the last 1 to 2 years, the developments have been fantastic in that field. And if you compare it to the times before, I see that is a reachable goal.
Wonderful. That is a wonderful ending of this interview. Thank you, Ina, very much for joining us today. It was very insightful, and I wish you all the best personally, and of course for all your conversational AI initiatives at Arak and your future endeavors. Thank you very much for being our guest today.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thanks for the future wishes. And I hope you guys are developing at the same speed you have done in the last years, because then we can go for these multilingual dream, which is in my head and probably a little bit in your head as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. Have a good day. Bye bye, Ina.
You too. Bye bye.